Lorraine was not able to be with us to introduce Lindsay. So Barbara will do the honors.
Okay. And by the way, I would ask you all to mute yourselves until we get to the chat part later. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat while Lindsay is giving her presentation. And if the questions relate to a particular slide, we'll cut in and tell Lindsay what they are. Carol and I will both be monitoring the chat. And now I guess I'll go to, this is Lorraine's introduction for Lindsay. And meanwhile, Lindsay, let me spotlight you. Okay. Lindsay Fort's work on paper and fabric combines a primary interest in material with figurative, floral, domestic object, line, and gradient motifs from personal experience. Lindsay received a BFA from Tyler School of Art, Temple University in 2006. She is focused on fieldwork in natural fabric dyeing and printing. She was a second state press fob holder recipient in 2021 in Philadelphia and shows work in various group shows in the Philadelphia area. And here is Lorraine's personal anecdote. So I'm speaking as Lorraine now. I met Lindsay over 20 years ago when she was part of the first group of students I taught at Tyler. Even then, her work stood out in her interesting use of materials and quirky but provocative content, always including a slight tinge of humor. Over the years, Lindsay went from student to artist colleague to friend, and I'm always interested to see what she's up to in the studio. I'm never disappointed when I do. I'm so happy to introduce her and her work to this group. Thank you, Lindsay. Okay, I am now going to, I'm now going to ask you to share your screen. And we will get to see it.
Okay. Everyone can see it. Everyone can hear me.
We can.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I had an opportunity to look at your website, and I look forward to going back and looking at new members' work. It was great to see all the work there. And I also recently went on and realized that assemblage is also supported. So I want to look into that further. So thank you again. Thank you, Barbara, for sending me all the things I needed. And thank you to Lorraine, who's not with us at the moment. And I will get started. And I'm going to talk about the development of my collage work and some influences and then current work. So this first slide is 2019 when I started really focusing on collage, and I work in series. So this is my first series that I did. And here's a work from that series. And this is gouache and paper. And it is about 6 by 9 inches. Most of my collages are small right now. And I use magazine materials that are vintage, maybe from the 40s to the 70s, 1970s. And these are layers of gouache and paper. And someone told me that they think I work this way because I am a quilter and I use patchwork. And these are little patches of paper. And I just kept layering until I arrived at this composition. So I'll just go through some of these works. This is called Sharks because of those shapes. That is newsprint on top of the gouache. And there's some graphite drawing in colored pencil. Another collage with newsprint, and there's a graphite drawing on there and gouache underneath.
Excuse me one moment, Lindsay. Does this series have a title?
I don't have a title for it, but when I save them on my computer, I do have like a series name, and I just called these cream collages because they're all that color. And that was my focus when I made them, was the color. It's kind of like the color of parchment or the color of the paper, the yellow paper, and I really did focus on getting the colors to match and this newsprint. So I guess you could call it the cream series. And this collage, there are some vintage images in here. There's on the left is an old television set. On the right is a old microphone, and there's a silhouette of a person in there. And I imagine my dad watching TV or playing with the amateur radio. And in the upper left of the left one are some lines. And that to me is water, and just a memory of my dad telling me where all the streams ran into the rivers, and the flow of all that. And he's interested in that. And he explained that to me. And I always loved that when he would tell me those things. And this is also another figurative work in that series. And this one has a title. This one is Morning Coffee. And it's again still that graphite and newsprint and on paper. And this is sort of like a mirror. The house I grew up in, there's a mirror next to the kitchen in the hallway. So we would walk by it all the time. So it's sort of about that. Another series, I do call this the primary series, and I used color this time. And I thought of Mondrian, how Mondrian only used primary colors. So just having methods to create series really helps. I find composition to be a challenge, and I don't want to approach it arbitrarily. So uh, all of the elements in the pieces have most of them start out with some sort of parameter, like using primary color. And then the two in the bottom there, the one on the left, the yellow one, is a positive image of the one on the right, and that's the negative cutout of that. So cutting things out and arranging them is obviously, we know, part of collage. So using those methods as a means of composition, I guess, is what I was doing here. And this one, I remember Lorraine mentioned humor. So this is an example where all these figures are arranged around this broken vase as if they're examining it and fixing it. So I just found these images in old magazines. I think it's Popular Science and Popular Mechanics magazines. So it's a lot about fixing things and building things. So this is a collage on a found paper, which is the first page of a vintage book. So it has that yellowing. And this is also probably 6 by 9 inches, just a small book size, 5.5 by 8 or something like that. And this is the same size. This is an arrangement of like images. Each image in this collage contains a circle. 2 of them are magazine pictures, and 2 of them are just fragments of drawings or paintings that I kept. I cut them up and I just kept them for the texture. And then later on, I have drawers and trays full of collage material that I collect and rearrange later. And this is another old book page, and there's an inscription from, I guess, the owner of the book. And I did a newsprint drawing collage below, and it's just an arrangement of shapes in a little cluster, which that composition in the last 3 works reminds me of Philip Guston's compositions. To the right is an abstract version of his composition that I see is centered on the page in a cluster, just like the one on the left. So these last three collages are like that cluster. It just reminded me of that central image composition. And also Renee Magritte used shapes in the sky here. The trees are cut out, the shapes in the sky are cutouts of the trees, which also reminded me of collage. And another source possibly of my collage, Marcel Duchamp's work in the upper right here, 3 standard stoppages, where he took a piece of string and dropped it 3 times and drew that shape. And in this collage, those shapes on the top, those 2 shapes are sourced from that piece, for no reason other than to have a shape and to add it to my composition. And another series is movement collage, and this is an arrangement of, these are the purple there is the edge of old sheet music, and I just really love the color and the texture, but I only had this strip from the edge of the sheet music, so I wanted to use it, and I arranged it in this way, and it kind of looks like a maze or a game, which led to thinking about movement. And here's the second piece in there, and this is gouache again, and it's like 9 inches wide and 6 inches tall about, and again gouache, and there is a video here of the movement of this piece. So I think I arrived at that from just cutting things up. I was doing collages of just eyes or just mouths, so I just accidentally arrived at this composition, and it's kind of funny, strange. And this one, the string is on the back, and you can pull it from the back. There's a hole in the piece, and you can pull it up or down. So that's that series. And then another series I did, I'm calling it duplicate collage. So there's 2 pieces in this series. There's the second one. So these 2. And they are intended to be like each other. And for example, in the right, the red cylinders there are like the bricks, the 2 bricks there. There's a lamp in the bottom center of each one. The one on the right has rifles, and the one on the left has knives. And so it was entertaining for me to, I created the first piece, and then it was entertaining for me to create a second piece and try to make it almost the same as much as I could. And so,
Excuse me,
yes.
Linda, there's another question. What kind of paper or substrate are you using?
Oh, yes,
these?
thanks for asking. It's just drawing paper, and I mounted the magazine pictures on that, but I drew with graphite. So the long strip at the top of each is like graphite on drawing paper, and then I collaged on top of that. And these are about 14 inches wide, maybe 9 by 14, maybe, and then they're not rectangular. There is like that indentation there in the shape. You can see more close up there. And this Via Selman's work is a print, and it's an arrangement of images. And there's a quote here by Via Selman's that I think maybe explains the development of work. Via Selman says a sort of theme was developing around describing space, around spirals, concentric circles, the plane spiraling down, the airplane spiraling down, the rotary device spinning, the stars turning, a similarity of events. And of course, I always liked Duchamp's piece and also the reproduction through which I found it. so this Via Salmon's piece is again a print, and these are three images. One is on the right is a Marcel Duchamp work that's, I guess it's a print, a picture of a sculptural work that moves. And then stars, she did a lot of drawings of stars. But anyway, these three images seem not to relate, but then they all talk about spirals, circles, and the movement. So I think that in these last two collages, maybe a narrative or a theme you can get from the images that are there. And I guess the reason they're there is the source material. That's what I had. So that's what I used. So it's not like I chose them to tell a story, but maybe you can make connections with those images. Another series, we'll call it Rifle series. These are magazine and graphite, again on drawing paper, and these are the similar size, the 9 inches wide by 6 inches high, each one. And the source I used, magazine, an advertisement for rifles that was probably in one of those magazines, Popular Science, Popular Mechanics, and those I have from like the 1950s or the 70s, or I also have Sports Illustrated from the 70s magazines. And this isn't the exact source I used for these, but the one I used had rifles and wood paneling, if you can see the wood paneling there. And you can see that there's a focus. Oh, the rifles, so they're not there. I only left that focus area, and I had a lot of fun drawing the wood grain in graphite, so you can see that underneath in the cutouts.
Is the sound, something happening with the sound?
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit on
Here, I
sound.
also cut them out again and left that focus area of the trigger, and I with the underneath areas.
Okay, you're
So
cutting
I
out.
think this creates a composition. Yes.
Lindsay? Your
Oh,
both your
okay.
image and your sound is cutting in and out. I'm wondering if there's something we can do about that. Can you hear me? Lindsay?
I think
You-
she's frozen.
It's frozen.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's see if
I'm moving closer to my router just in case.
oh, perfect.
I apologize. Okay, share my screen.
Great.
Okay, so I was talking about the cutouts of the rifles, and I was drawing the areas underneath in graphite. And then this is just an arrangement of magazine images on paper from that series. And this is a cutout from that series. This cutout creates a composition underneath. I don't, if you can see there's darker square areas, and that's on the other side of that piece of paper. And I thought that created a composition. And another example of the other side of something. To the left is the blue. This is gouache on paper. It's layers of paper. And this is the front of the collage. And on the right, that is the back of that collage. So there's old sheet music in there, old book pages. And I think the back is interesting also. So I started to think a lot about that. And the collage being an object, not just a two-dimensional picture plane. And this is the last in that series. And I think that the shapes in this, I don't know why I put those shapes floating up there, and I think maybe it's just the compositional element and it mirrors the shapes below. So that is another method of working. This series, the next series is the collage garden, and I used my source material for these collages was the Better Homes and Gardens books here about gardening, and I had multiples of them. I had a lot of them to work with. And these collages are small because I was using pictures from the book, so maybe 4 by 4 inches or 5 by 5 or something like that. My materials are, or my source materials are the garden books, but also the Popular Mechanics, Popular Science magazines. So I created this parameter for myself to only use those two materials and glue them, cut and glue, and so the paper, and to only use one of each. So I'm just going to go through them. There's quite a few of in the series. And those images, the magazine black and white images are, I think they're oil filters for cars. And I think I was exploring composition while doing this series. Just the placement of those elements became important. And then there's themes in different placements and different types of images. Or I would say repeated ways of placing them. Like there's a central line in this one, or these two. And this one reminded me of Ellsworth Kelly postcard collage series, that white shape over the image. And the next few, the magazine image is of drivers, like automobile performance tests. So they have those cones set up, and I cut out the car because I didn't want it to be representational. It's more about composition. So the next few have the automobile cut out, which creates that little window. And these still are just using two pieces, one from each source, but because I cut the car out, then it created two pieces of paper to work with in the composition.
Lindsay, there was a question, since they are on paper, how do you display them? Do you frame them or what?
Yes, I would frame them. And I also considered making a box for them because there are groups. I'm also interested in books, like reproducing them in books would be great. But for now, yes, I would just frame them.
Okay, there's one more question. Do you give yourself exercises to explore art concepts? What did you learn or practice from this exercise?
From this exercise, yeah, I guess I did this as an exercise to find methods of composition, and I guess I need to think about that. But I just think that this is going to translate from my memory into future work. But it was definitely an exercise to do that. I also have a sketchbook practice where I work through different motifs, and I do a lot of repeating. That helps you work through things. And also becomes the work. The repetition has become the work and become the series. And this one has a graphite tracing of that object above, pencil line in there. Yeah, I think it would be good to go back and look at them and then say, okay, this composition is a division of space and define those different ways of working and creating composition. Sometimes you create a composition and you don't even know why it worked, but it works for yourself. You like it. This one has multiple elements. There's a couple here. This one also has multiple elements from those source collage material sources, and this one was focusing on that person shaving. They're at the top, and then he's at the bottom on the left. And these collages have movement. So the image on the right goes over top, and I did trace it with a pencil line. And I haven't really figured out how I would display this and make this happen, but the piece exists. So it moves that way. You can see it. Then there's one more in that. And I think that this could be a piece by itself, or that's a piece by itself. So something I've been thinking about. And then there's just a few more in the series. And I had books that had the same images, so I was able to have the same image in the collage multiple times, which I thought was interesting opportunity. And this work is I think the last one I have shared in this series. It coincidentally was like a Lois Dodd painting with that yellow window. Lois Dodd paints from observation. So that window is actually in a room where she painted an outdoor scene on the walls. And it's just a coincidence that it looks the same as the collage that I made. But down below, there is a red square in the painting by Lois Dodd below, and she talked about placing that red piece of fabric on the wash line so that she could paint it into her composition. But she still paints from observation. So I just find that interesting, different approaches to creating visual work. I find that really exciting. And I listen to a lot of artist talks. I love doing that. And I think I'll talk a little bit about how I was led to collage. And I took a lot of photographs. I used to have a long commute to work before I started doing collage. And I would stop and give myself extra time to take pictures. So these are all pictures of free signs on my commute. And all of these free signs and the objects around them became compositions to me. So I have a collection of those. So I think I can see some of these shapes in my collage work. And I have a postcard collection. So these are old photo postcards from the early 1900s. And I see a lot of the same methods used by the photographers and the printers of the photographs. A lot of people did home printing at home. They created these masks. So these two diamonds here, there's like a mask over the photograph to create that. And there's a lot of duplicating going on. So I'm inspired a lot by that. And studio photography is another inspiration, where they had painted backdrops, and it's just very kind of funny and surreal and interesting to me. And then another method, and source material is crochet books and rubbings. I do rubbings of the collages. So on the right here, the raised area of the collage allows these shapes to emerge when you go over it with graphite over the collage with a piece of paper. So this made its way into this series. I think I have two more series left to talk about. So this series is rubbings and cutouts of the shapes that occur in the rubbings, and scraps of the crochet magazine material, and they're glued on paper. So it's graphite rubbings on paper and magazine on paper. And I think this is about shape, and just that one on the left, that graphite shape is mimicking that crochet shape. And I just had these shapes cut out and played with them and then arrived at that. I didn't cut that shape out to be like that other shape, which is part of the why I'm compelled to make collage, is playing with materials and combining them in shapes. And this silhouette shows up in my work again, that human silhouette there. And this on the left is a crochet magazine, and there's this gradient shading behind it, which I thought was very strange, and these shapes are floating. So I started to do drawings of that, which seems to be a compositional element or method that I use, is the floating shapes. So I started doing, on the right, that's a graphite drawing, like maybe 9 by 12. And that led to this collage. This on the left is sheet music, which gets that green color. And so it's sheet music that's cut and reassembled and colored pencil. And then I did a rubbing of that collage on the left. So on the right is the rubbing, and also more cut out shapes and colored pencil on paper. And in the upper right, that shape on that image reminds me and is the source of those shapes that I used. These are fabric works from when I was working with natural dyeing, and these shapes are from scraps that I had that someone must have been making clothing, and it was all these cutout shapes that were all the same. So I reassembled them into these shapes. So that's how I arrived at that shape. And this is silkscreen, the flowers on silkscreen appliqued on cotton fabric that's dipped in walnut dye. So this was basically fabric collage through applique. And I have a sketchbook practice, so you can see that here, where I cut and work with all of the motifs that I use. These are more rubbing. I did some rubbings of fabric, actually, like sewn fabric. So you have like the string you can see in the rubbing. And then I did these line drawings and I cut them up and reassembled them. So this does look like one drawing, but it's actually pieces that are cut and put back together, and rubbings after that. It's colored pencil, and I think I use blue ballpoint pen also. And these gradient drawings that I've been doing with colored pencil, I just did these drawings and then wanted to cut them up and reassemble them. And there's some rubbing of some lace in the bottom center. This collage ended up curling. So I learned a little bit about paper. I couldn't have it flat. So I ran into that in my collage journey. And this is what I intended for those drawings, these are really big. So each, there's a face in each one. And each one is about, I don't know, 9 by 12. So if you multiply that, that's a large piece, but I wasn't able to glue it together because the paper, that paper that I was using curls. And on the right is a different arrangement of the one on the left. So I was playing a lot on a wall in my studio. I have a magnet board in my studio. So these are pieces that I was able to rescue from that paper situation. And more pieces. I can still glue like small pieces together to create a piece. And some of them are ending up being very small and like oddly shaped. And that might be a direction I might go in, because it's interesting to compose. More of this gradient drawing in colored pencil. On the left is another small collage with a line drawing in graphite and colored pencil over. I painted the paper with gouache and I think sometimes I use matte acrylic, which has the same look. And on the right is a colored pencil drawing, which I think is like water. These are like natural forms. And in the center, I made a paper mache version of my drawing. And I think that is also from, the reason I did that is because these cabinet card photographs on the right, they made these rock forms. It's a photo prop. So that's how that came about. And that's the drawing. These are collages. So these are drawings, colored pencil drawings on painted paper. I basically gessoed the paper, and there are some magazine elements, like on the right, there's some water element from a magazine in the bottom right. And the last thing, my most recent collages are going in the direction of being an object. This is, you can see on the right, there is a lip. It's like a box lid, basically. And it is colored pencil. That pink is colored pencil, and it's found paper that I glued onto the box lid that I made. And there's an indentation in the lid. So in the right is the indentation, and on the left is the cutout that created the indentation. And I couldn't figure out how to measure those triangles to be able to cut pieces of paper to exactly fit into a pyramid that goes down. So I just paper mache'd it with strips of paper. And this is inspired by Duchamp's boxes that he made of his own work to display little replicas of his work. And the piece that fascinated me in the center is, I guess it's a ready-made sculpture called Why Not Sneeze? And to the left is the paper version of that, the replica version from that box, which I thought was a fascinating object. It's a photograph mounted on plaster, but I guess it like moves up and down and you still get that cutout edge around it. So I just think it's like strange and fascinating. So that kind of inspired me to make a box object. I put this collage object that I made, I put it in a box that I made. So on the left isn't Duchamp's green box, and on the right is my green box. And the reason I made this is because I had this this velvet green scrap of mat board. That's the only reason. It reminded me of that. So, and the last collages, my most recent collages that I made like last month are that I finished last month are gouache again. So I'm getting back to my beginnings of collage using the gouache. And these are again like 6 inches wide, 9 inches tall. Gouache and pencil on paper and magazine material, the crochet magazines. And sheet music and some colored pencil drawing also. So that is basically all of my collage work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lindsay. Wow, what a wonderful journey. Barbara, you unmute yourself, Barb.
Thanks for reminding me. Okay,
That was wonderful. That was wonderful, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Are there questions from the chats? Other questions that
there weren't any specific ones. There were lots of laudatory comments, and I will be posting the chat, Lindsay, as well as the recording on our website. And so you can read all about all the wonderful things people said about your work as you were talking. Are there any other questions that people want to put into the chat?
Are there,
Well, I have a verbal question.
Me too. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is that okay?
yeah,
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I was really interested in your rifle series based on the controversial issues of gun usage today, if there was any underlying things that you were going through using guns as a sense as your theme in that series.
Yeah, well, using the vintage materials and seeing advertising and things from the past makes me realize that there are themes that have always been something in our culture.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I think the work is a statement that it's something that is an issue for people, but I don't necessarily know if the work is expressing an opinion about it, but I think it's important for everyone to be able to be aware of issues and maybe even talk about them.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but I think my source material is just there. Um,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was curious because I think the very last piece that you did that showed a child sitting, I think, at a desk.
Mhm.
And I don't
Yeah.
know if he was
Yeah.
holding a rifle,
Right.
subliminally,
Yeah.
which really brings it home to what's been going on
Yeah.
today. So I just wondered if there was, yeah, the
Yeah. I
things
think
have always been with us.
yeah, cutting out those areas creates a mystery and I guess speaks to how issues are like there's different sides to an issue
Right.
and how complicated and that can be. So creating some mystery in those images speaks to that, I think.
Yeah. Thank you.
And yeah.
it's, somebody wrote the then and now. Oh, it went away. Like, Barbara, you got that last.
Yeah, like smoking used to be healthy. So I think that's just referring to different ways of looking at things then and now and how perceptions change. There's also another question here. Have you exhibited your work and did you display it in series?
I haven't exhibited this work, but I think I think they can stand alone, but I also would display them as series. Most of them can stand alone, I think. And again, I did mention I would be interested in making books to show the series, and I think that's inspired by Instagram. My Instagram is like a magazine to me, and all the images relate, and it becomes a series. So I'm really interested in series. Yes.
Hmm.
Lindsay, this is Patrice. I typed a few comments, but I wanted to say verbally, I think I appreciate you explaining the process because I think your work appears simple, but how you get there is not that simple.
Yeah.
And again, as a newer artist, when you show your work without an explanation, who's looking at it and how do they appreciate it if you're not there to that doesn't sound like a compliment, but what I mean is people who don't understand the process and what the series that you've gone through to get there might not recognize the talent. Does that make sense?
What goes into them, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some of them, I think the first series, there's a lot of layers that you can see.
Mhm.
But then further in, I'm really focused on the formal composition. And yeah, so it's all part of the journey. And but I think you can visually see that the composition is primary, a lot goes into it or not. Um, and then there can be like layers of innuendo or meaning or humor in some of the
Mhm.
visuals.
Yep.
So yeah, but yeah, think that you could just look at them formally too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
There's
thank you.
a-
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know if
There's
that
an,
answers the question,
yeah.
but
It does. It does.
There's another question here. Do you feel the elements you choose for your work, such as crochet, have a personal connection to your life, interests, or memories?
I think that the figurative work has stuff with memory. I think that I spent a lot of time in high school going to thrift stores, and my grandparents always had things. So yeah, I guess it could be memory. Yeah. Just finding old vintage things that is like personally I really like. Yeah, it does. So I don't put anything in my work that I don't visually like, that I'm not attracted to, and I can't work with material that I'm not attracted to. So the quality of the paper is really important. And usually that's older paper, the yellowed paper. So yeah, visually and material in my work is my own personal taste, I think. Yeah, definitely.
I love the element that you wove through some of your series of water and how it related to your dad. You saw it in the beginning and then you saw it later. So whether that is a conscious choice or not, but it is a thread, I think one of your um,
Oh, thank you.
personal
I didn't
things.
realize that.
Yeah, so it's becomes sort of your personal symbols that may start out on a subliminal level, but I noticed it.
Yeah.
Even with your line drawings, um, they related to that first little thing that you showed that the little cutouts of the water on your dad's thing. I love those two pieces, by the way.
Oh, thank
Your
you.
dad. So something for you to think about.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I think I grew up in a area that had a lot of nature. Um, and I played outside when I was a kid all the time, just all day. And so that is very important to me.
Hmm?
Place is very important to me. Um, and just observing visually my environment around me makes its way into my work.
Uh-huh.
I see someone asked where I grew up. I grew up an hour northwest of Philadelphia, and it's near Reading, Pennsylvania.
Mm.
And there's a lot of hills, orchards, farms there. Also a lot of how development also, but yeah.
I have one other thing. I don't want
And shopping outlets.
What,
another thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Sylvia.
I was interested in the garden series. I enjoyed that. Were the images of the florals from magazines also, or
So
not, were photographs?
the garden images, the flowers all came from that book series. So it was all from one series of books. So they had pictures highlighting different types of flowers and then how to care for them. So that's where all those images came from.
Okay.
That was something I was going to comment on too, with your floral series. I found it really fascinating, what other images you use to pair, your collages with. That here are these beautiful florals, and you have, you know, what you chose were like engine parts and auto parts, which has a humor to it to me. And I was curious as to what your thought process was. Why, if you can even remember, why you chose that. particular,
just like, I have a collection of vintage material that I want to use, and then I just play with it and put them together. And then I'm like, okay, this is something, this is formally, compositionally something, and I'm going to explore this, and I'm going to create this parameter for myself and just use these things. And I'm also attracted to them. I'm attracted to, like, when I was a kid, my father had a friend who had a junkyard, and we would like play there, and the plants would grow up on everything, and like there can be beauty in like rusty things.
Love it.
So like just that's stuff that I'm attracted to too. So
Yeah,
so
someone asked, which came first, finding the flower books or the idea of doing them and then acquiring the books?
oh, somebody gave them to me. I have a friend who was like, she does collage, and I'm not going to I don't use these in my collage. Take these. So then I had them, I had to use them. So yeah. But the popular mechanics books, there's a lot of figures in there, a lot of advertising, and that's something I deliberately bought them for to use them.
Well,
Mostly
I'm
for
yeah, sorry.
mostly for the advertising, because I think vintage advertising I think is kind of humorous sometimes.
It is, no doubt.
I wanted to sort of relate to what Patrice said, that and asking you questions and learning more about your thought process, that I think it's fascinating how, I mean, it's really thought-provoking how you put things together and why you do it. And I think it would be really important for you when you start really showing your work to have explanations in a way. I mean, most of us create our work, and it's what, we don't want to really talk about it. It's how other people relate to it. But, to beginning as a series, to maybe share a little bit, because your process is very involved, really. So I don't know how you do that and then allow people to have their own senses of it, but I just think you're very unique.
Well, I appreciate that. I think this talk, I appreciate being invited, because this talk did help me think through some of those things um, to prepare for this talk. And I'm still thinking through that, so I appreciate that.
Great. Anything else? So Lindsay, it's just been lovely and wonderful, and an education for all of us in a new way, I think.
Mhm.
And again, thank you so much. And if there isn't anything else, we'll move on to the other things in the meeting that we should cover. Any other things for our dear Lindsay? Then I want to ask if there's any announcements from our members, and any and also Suzanne was going to ask any of our new members to show or talk about themselves or their work. So
Yeah.
let's do the new members first, and then if any of our members, we'll ask for kind of general announcements from everybody. Tell us about what you're up to these days.
Do you want to do new members first? If
Yes.
anybody, our new members who are here, do you want to, I don't know if you put your name in the chat somehow, I can't bring the chat up. Would you like, Barbara, did anybody put their name into,
No, but if they would like to speak.
because we have quite a few, if you're still here.
Looks like Corey and
Corey and Jeannie, I don't know, Jeannie was interested in maybe getting more involved. Are you still interested, Jeannie, in getting more involved?
Well, all right.
On the spot?
Yes, I heard what you said, and I think that you mentioned that you need some help with membership, assistant, and I don't know what that involves, so I'm not saying I would do it, but I would like to hear more about that.
Right.
I don't remember, but I thought in the email that I was going to be introduced in November meeting and not today, so I have nothing prepared. I'm kind of in the middle of things. But I don't know what you want as an introduction, other than I can tell you a little about myself, but I don't have images
Oh,
prepared.
no, that wasn't that you could have done that. No, November was the newsletter, because we're not going to have a
Oh.
newsletter in October.
That's
But all of our new members are always introduced at our meetings. So, you know, if you don't have anything prepared, it's okay. If you want to say, you know, our time is sort of limited. If you want to say a couple of things about yourself, where you are, and if you have a collage at hand that you want to just hold up, it's okay. Or if you know, whatever you want to do. But you're here.
I'm here and I'm working on a project. I'm working on several projects, and I will share those definitely in the future. I've been working this whole year because this is my 75th year on the earth.
Oh.
And I wanted to honor it and commemorate it in some way. So I have created, at this point, I think 80 and beyond,
Wow.
5x7 collages that I am currently sent off to have scanned. And then once they're historically recorded, I'm going to gift them to all the people whose paths have crossed mine throughout my life, current and past, that I appreciate that we had connected at some point with each other.
Oh,
So
That's beautiful.
that requires a lot of research because I don't know where some of them are. I don't know, some of them may not even exist anymore in this particular plane of existence. So, but I feel wonderful about both accomplishing that and having this way of sharing my appreciation at this particular stage of my life. Fourth quarter. I'm in the fourth quarter. It feels like an NFL game. Because I know a lot of exciting things happen, sports metaphor, in fourth quarters. So I can share more of that in the future, but in terms of myself, I'm a longtime artist, creator, writer, many interests, and I feel as though the welcome blew me away. I was the one that said that. That letter I got, and not
That's
only did
wonderful.
you welcome me, but then you went and looked at my website, and then you signed up for my newsletter, which I haven't published since the pandemic, but I'm reviving it. And it was like, that was a sign from above. This is the right direction that I'm heading.
I am so glad.
So that's me. And we'll talk more about this job.
Okay, and what I would encourage you to do, Jeannie, for the November newsletter as a new member, write some things up, your writer, and send a few images to Quaylene. She's on there, but she can't
I
talk to us,
see
I
her
guess.
down. Yes.
Yes, she will, she wants information. And so just write something up about yourself, and she'll put it in the newsletter. Any of you, any of the new members, any of new or old members. Quaylene looks for material, so, you know, get yourself out there.
All right, Quaylene, we shall communicate. Thank you. Thank you.
I think maybe Corey wanted to say something.
Okay,
Great.
Corey. Unmute yourself, Corey.
No, she's unmuted, but we're not hearing her.
Try it again.
We heard you for a second and then you cut out. No, sorry. Do you want to talk to us in the chat?
wonder why there's no sound. How
Yeah,
weird.
it's something on her end because she isn't muted.
Is the
Maybe
sound?
we can catch you in November or in the newsletter.
Yeah, do that, Corey.
Check your the sound on your computer versus the sound on the video on our. Anyway,
You have your volume set all the way down?
as in the meantime, if Corey, if it comes up, butt in. In the meantime, let's see if there's any announce any other new members or any members that want to. Oh, Linda.
Yes,
Linda.
yes. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Good. Okay, I'm glad. My background was in painting and printmaking, and I went into photography as a career and did a lot of fine art photography for many, many years. And about 5 years ago, I got tired of doing the same thing over and over again. And I felt my work was really getting very static, and I wanted to resume something more like painting, or I didn't know what. And I tried to push my photography into something more abstract and something with more movement. And within the last couple of years, I've landed on collage, and I'm really excited about it because it's now combining my photography, drawing, painting, cut paper, all sorts of, an assortment of things now, and it's really enlivened up my art for me, and it's a whole new path, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm happy to be in this group.
Oh,
So,
great.
yeah.
Looking forward to seeing what you enter in our show.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Anybody else? Oh, Corey, are you thinking that?
Did it work?
Yes, we can hear you.
I swear, the lighter I try to make my studio, the darker my screen goes. So I don't know what's going on there, but I'll try my other computer next time. So I've been a longtime artist. I'm also a pastel artist, mixed media collage artist. And I just retired this year. So that's been new for me, and trying to figure out, my whole art business side of it. But, I've been doing collage for a lot of years, too, as well as doing pastels. And I have coming up for me, I have a demo I'll be doing in December for Oregon Pastel Society. So that was nice that they invited me to do that. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure out my new schedule. So I don't know if I could share real quick if it'll work.
Sure.
Since my
Try it.
computer's kind of being funky. But here's a big one I have cooking.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's still, the paint's still wet. But
Does that include collage or is that all paint?
oh no, it's collage. I use handmade papers. I use found papers. I use a lot of vintage books, old music books. I like engineering books with the math formulas. Let's see it. Different things. You
Nice.
can see that. Those type of things. So yeah, I use, and just repurposing is important to me. Using things that come in the mail or products that we buy, those paper things, and just trying to show that there can be beauty in reusing and repurposing. Besides, the vintage books, the old magazines, and then just making my own papers from those things too. And that's what I use. So
Thank
I'm
you.
curious, the ground that you used for that piece you showed us, it reminds me, is that the Mexican flag? There is
Yeah.
a flag.
And I didn't think of that. It was just the color that would look good with the hot pink, the hot green. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Corey.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Who else would like to say something or share?
I'll say hello. I'm Barbara. I'm a new member and I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So I certainly understood the beginning of our meeting and the heat problems that you're having in California. We have it almost
Yes.
every day. Unlike most of you, I'm very new to all of this. I retired 2 years ago after a career as a speech pathologist, special educator, inclusion for folks with disabilities person, and then decided to make my second bedroom like a make it space. And that's been a lot of fun. So I'm loving exploring collage and hope to learn from all of you and maybe someday share a little bit. So
Great.
thank you.
Please.
Well, welcome.
Oh, and I need help. Why I'm not volunteering for anything. I can't make the pictures I uploaded go from landscape to vertical. So I can't help stuff.
Join the club.
My head is like this in that profile thing. So all I got. Thanks.
Okay, anyone else? Love to hear from someone else. If you have an announcement about something that's going on with your art, if you're in a show or Barbara,
Yeah,
Tabachnik.
I have a piece in a show called Global Warming is Real, and it's the Museum of Encaustic Art. And it's kind of a neat show, so I'm going to put the link in the chat. Whoops, that's the wrong one. I'll put them both in. That's another show.
She's
in
in
a
so
lot
many
of
shows every day.
Up with her.
Okay, here's the other one. This is the Global Warming is Real one.
Oh, nice.
They're both collage and they're both fun. One is encaustic, of course.
Okay, good. Suzanne.
Yes, I'm I'm in two shows. One is the Hillcrest Center for the Arts. It was if you're in California, it's in the Conejo Valley Art Association, and it was an invitational, which is really, really nice to be invited. It's not a pay to play, which is nice. It's in a performing arts center, and there's several artists in the show, and I have 8 pieces in it. So the reception is coming up on the 28th from 3 to 5. It's an interesting show, and the curator picked a interesting, it was up to her what she wanted in the show. And at first I thought nothing goes together, but the way it was installed, it looks great. So I'm very pleased. And I was a member many years ago, for quite a few years, of the Los Angeles Center for Digital Art. And, like, Linda said she was a photographer. Well, I kind of became a photographer, although I don't ever consider myself a photographer. But I became a member there and did digital photo collages. The gallery closed before COVID, and it has just rebooted and reopened. So their grand reunion is on October 5th. I think it opens on the 3rd. I won't even be able to go to the reception. Unfortunately, it's downtown LA because I have a conflict, but that will be up for the month of October. So that was really nice to have a reboot, although I do not need any more large digital prints that I have to frame. I would frame them and show them at the Gloria Delson Contemporary Arts Gallery, but my husband is getting sick of having everything come back and be in the garage because my studio is, I can barely get through it. Selling art is good luck on that, so on the wall and comes right back home.
Thanks, that's good. That's exciting, the big exhibit that you have. Anybody else have a?
Yeah.
Carrie,
Yeah.
Carol Blue.
Okay, I've got a piece, California Art League has a show going at the Betsy Lukey Creative Arts Gallery. And I have one photograph printed on metal in there, and the show closes next Thursday. I pick up the work next Thursday. The reception was about a week and a half ago, and it was amazingly well attended, more than I've seen anything since the pandemic. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. A lot of people, a lot of young people, a lot of enthusiasm, great music. They had a table full of food, and it was really well laid out. It was a good show. So, and it ends very shortly. And again, I'll have another piece to bring home and figure out where to put it.
I have a show at Tara's Gallery in Woodland Hills. The reception was, I guess it was last week, maybe. It was so hot, although I still had a good turnout, and that show is over next Thursday, I think the 27th, and it's by appointment at this point. And yes, I think we need to get like a storage room to put all our paintings in.
Toby, where is that gallery?
It's in Woodland Hills. It's a small gallery. It's on Ventura Boulevard, but it's like in a little shopping center. So it's hard to explain. I don't have the address in front of me. I'm sorry.
Is it something that they might be available for collage to have a show there, or is it too small?
I have some issues with it.
Okay.
So why don't you, instead of me going over it, do you want to call me?
Well, Penny would, she's our exhibit chair, and we are looking for venues. It is so hard to find good venues to have a member show that is in person.
It's a very, okay, here's the thing. It's a small gallery. I think it's Tara, T-A-R apostrophe S, Woodland Hill, Tara's Gallery in Woodland Hills. Tara owns it. The problem is she does classes in there. So, and she
is that where Terry Paul Romero shows?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So there's issues there, and I was going to sort of discuss with her if she wanted other people. Like, I don't think I would go in there again, because it's basically on your reception day that it's open, and other days she has classes. So she's got things in front of your work.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's not really good. And if she's really interested, she seems to be interested in having shows.
I don't think we'll be interested, Toby.
Yeah.
Yes, but
I
I'll
just
look
thought I
into
would
it.
ask. You know,
Yes.
we're always looking.
On a personal, maybe someone personally might be interested, but not for
Yes.
CA.
Definitely, if you're interested in a show, give her a call.
Good. Thanks, Toby. Anybody else have anything that they want to announce? I'm in a show. I have in Women Painters West. The name of the show is Waves of Creativity. It's at the North Coastal Art Gallery, and it's far away in the south of California. One of the little, I can't think of the name of the community. Oceanside, I think.
Oh, Oceanside, yeah.
But not,
I think Carlsbad. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Whatever the one is right next to Oceanside. Anyway, and I'm also I have a piece in a local little theater, Colony Theater. They have a show about being brave, and I have a piece in that show too. Anyway, I'm not very good at reporting my work.
I think
Adrian, is that how you pronounce your name? Or Adrian?
Muted, Adrian.
Oh, Adrian Dedick? Unmute.
Yes, that's right. Okay, I am muted. I just finished a commission piece and I'm delivering it tomorrow. So it's a fabric collage of an African warrior, and I'll see if I can hold it up. And you can.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, how wonderful.
Wow,
Terrific.
that's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Wow, that's great.
Oh, I love that.
That's really beautiful. Any collage in there?
It's all fabric collage.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see the detail, but yeah, it's all
Oh,
fabric
Wow.
and
That-
stitched.
thank you. Oh, that's great.
You should share that for the newsletter. Send an image to Quayleen. That's gorgeous. Wow.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Thank you all. Well, let's see, I want to just always thank Quaylin for doing a fantastic newsletter. She is so creative and always makes it beautiful and interesting. And please send in anything that you think you'd like to share with everybody. And I'm sure she will accommodate posting it. If you have any technique ideas or any newsy things that the other members might be interested in, I'll be sure and send them to Quaylin. And any other board member news that we have to share?
No, but I would like to extend to Lindsay to consider joining CAA.
Yeah, good idea.
Think about it.
And well, now I will say this, when we close our meeting, that we can remain on and chit chat at 4. And if there's nothing more, no last hands up, we will say that the meeting is adjourned.
Okay, I will stop the recording.